Hey babes, I'm Miss Mila Rose, and today I am cosplaying as REY SKYWALKER from Star Wars. And I must say, this is probably one of my most favorite cosplays done of all time. I did have to follow a couple of tutorials to get this cosplay looking just right. The first one was the hair tutorial. It was a pretty simple looking tutorial, just creating 3 buns on 3 different layers using your hair. Because I have natural brunette hair, I did not have to get a cosplay wig this time. And the Amazon wig looks really bad, so I'm really happy that I didn't have to get a wig for this one. The hair tutorial looked very easy, but it wasn't the easiest to follow, even though it really didn't take that long. You had to work at the back of your head and imagine what it looks like and hope that you're doing the right thing and that it turns out. The hair tutorial did not show you how to get these strands at the sides. I just sort of clamped them together like this using my 3rd hairband until I needed that so that I could separate them from the mix, and then I let them hang out the very end when I needed that last 3rd hairband. The other tutorial that I had to use to get this costume looking just like REY SKYWALKER's was the sash tutorial. So the sash tutorial that I used, they actually had the sash completely detached, but this sash came with the costume attached, which made following the tutorial a little more confusing, but I was still able to figure it out, not a problem. Essentially, you take one of the sashes and you tuck it under the belt loops, and then you take this sash and you wrap it this way in a crossing motion and you tuck it under the belt loops, and then you take the last sash and you wrap it around your shoulder and tuck it under the belt loops. Then from there you essentially adjust the sash through the belt loops and you make sure that the sashes are coming straight down. Pretty simple and straightforward. So these are the most time-consuming parts of this cosplay. Otherwise, this costume has been pretty simple. However, I did have some problems with this costume. I do think this costume is a little cheap, and I'll get into some of the complications that I ran into and how I tried to work around them. So first off, I think this shirt is way too short. When you look at the pictures of REY SKYWALKER, her shirt is kind of going closer to about this length, so I want to say there's probably at least another inch on this shirt that's missing, or about an inch. The shirt is definitely a little too short. The pants are way too wide at the hips, and I know it's not custom made to fit me, but it is very wide at the hips, and I have never experienced this before with other costumes, so I don't know why this particular costume was done with really wide fabric at the hips. But essentially this causes a problem because it really does bunch a bunch of fabric around the groin area, and you have a belt loop right here that goes around your thigh, and it was impossible to get this thing tightened using the very cheaply made belt pieces they had for these straps. So essentially what happened was I was trying to get this thing fitted on my leg, but because there's so much fabric bulking up there, it was constantly pushing and pulling against me as I worked to try and tighten it. And I pulled a little too hard, and the whole golden piece that's supposed to feed the belt loop through just snapped and popped right off of the strap. So I wasn't able to get this thing on the way it was intended to be. And I'm pretty sure it's because the pants are just way too bulky and all of this fabric is fighting and working against you to tighten the belt strap in place. So essentially I just tried to tighten it as much as I could around my thigh manually, and then I used a hot glue gun to situate this thing in place. Also, another problem with this is the strap is way too long. I mean, I think that probably makes it a little difficult too to tighten it how you're supposed to. There's way too much extra belt. So even with this little hack I did, it's still not staying up the thigh. So if you see it falling at any point in time in this video, that is why. I honestly wanted to just not even use it for this cosplay because it just clearly wasn't going to work. But I did think it was such an iconically important part of the costume and I didn't want to just get rid of it. With that being said, I'm constantly trying to pull this thing back up to get it to stay on my leg, which it's not really staying. So bear with me if you see it falling at any point in this video. So there's a lot of pieces that go into this costume. Luckily, I didn't have to buy a wig, but the costume is so complex. You have these arm pieces, the wrist piece, the upper arm piece. You have two belts here. You have this belt and then you have the sash belt, which essentially is another piece of belt that holds the sash in place. The waist belt and then the pants and the shirt, which is attached to the sash. And for the shoes, I'm rocking these brown high-heeled booties. They don't look exactly like REY SKYWALKER's boots, but they're the closest thing that I owned, and I did not purchase boots specifically for this cosplay. But despite all the challenges that I've had with this cosplay, I think it turned out pretty good, and I am relatively pleased with the costume. It does look pretty authentically like REY SKYWALKER's. I just wish they did something about this strap. So I also have this, which was a gift, and I am using it as a prop for this cosplay, and in post edits I will have the saber coming out. For the makeup look, I did go for very earthy colors for the eyeshadows and also some glitter for some glam. I used silver glitter on top of brown glitter and brown shadow, and then I also added a little bit of gold glitter as well. The lipstick is a pretty nude pink, and then I added a little bit of a shimmery gloss. And then for the nails, I did do red nail polish. I did want to go for more of a glam REY SKYWALKER look for this one. Otherwise, I would have done without any nail polish. So as always, I've done a complete photo shoot as REY SKYWALKER, and I'm really excited to show you guys those photos, or some of those photos, right now. Do you think I did a good job emulating REY SKYWALKER's character? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this cosplay. And of course, if you like this video, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, turning on that notifications button, and I'll be seeing you babes again very soon with another cosplay video. The next one is going to be Princess Peach. Bye for now, till next time.